You know, it's not some big sudden crash. It's more like this slow creeping pressure that families all across America are feeling every single day. So in this explainer, we're going to break down what's really going on in 2025, a year defined by a phrase that really hits home, the quiet suffocation.
All right, let's just dive right in with the one question that is on everyone's mind, right? You ask it at the gas station, you ask it in the grocery aisle, you definitely ask it when the rent is due. How on earth did everything get so expensive?
Okay, so let's make this really, really real. Let's talk about a gallon of milk. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that it was, what, $3.50? And now, $5.25. And, you know, it's more than just a number on a receipt. It's that constant daily reminder that your paycheck just doesn't go as far as it used to.
And look, it's not just the groceries. Even things that were supposed to be cheap, you know, a quick convenience, they're starting to feel like a luxury. A single fast food meal can cost you $14 now. 14! At minimum wage, that's basically an entire hour of your life traded for one meal. Just let that sink in for a second.
And this isn't just a story about people struggling on low wages. No, this is squeezing everyone. A $70,000 salary, that used to mean you were stable, right? Maybe you could think about buying a house. But now, for some folks, like a construction worker named James out in California, it means living in his van, just to make ends meet on $70K a year.
So, you see, this is so much more than just numbers on a price tag. It's this invisible weight, a constant pressure that shapes every single decision a family has to make day in and day out.
Yeah, the official word for it is inflation, but one of our sources uses a much more powerful term. They call it the quiet suffocation, and that's exactly what it feels like, right? It's not a loud bang, it's this slow, quiet, persistent wearing away of everything you've worked so hard to build.
And when you're under that kind of pressure, you start asking some really deep questions. Questions that get to the very heart of, well, the American dream. What happened to that basic promise? You know, the one that said, if you just work hard and play by the rules, you'll be okay?
To even begin to answer that, we've got to zoom out, way out. We need to look past the price tag on the milk and see the huge global forces and corporate strategies that are actually at play here.
So how did we get here? Well, the roots of this mess go back a few years. It was really a perfect storm of events hitting one after another. First, you had all that pandemic stimulus money flooding the system. Right after that, global supply chains just shattered. Then, a war in Eastern Europe sent energy prices through the roof. You put all that together, and bam, you have the recipe for the kind of quiet, stubborn inflation we're seeing now.
But here's the kicker. This is where a crisis became an opportunity for some. That phrase, supply chain issues, it became this catch-all excuse. It was the perfect cover for companies to jack up their prices, often way, way beyond what their own costs had actually gone up.
And this chart right here just lays it all out, plain as day. Just look at the difference. That smaller bar, that's how much it actually cost more to make things. But that much, much taller bar, that's how much they raised the price on you. That huge gap in between, well, that's not about scarcity, that's about strategy. And what this does is create this crazy, vicious cycle. One source calls it the snake eating its own tail, which is a perfect description. Think about it. Higher transport costs mean higher prices at the store. Higher grocery bills mean your landlord feels justified raising the rent. Higher rent means you need higher wages, which just pushes prices up all over again. It just keeps feeding itself.
So what? Is this some big secret conspiracy? Well, not really. It's more like what one journalist called it, capitalism, sharpened to a knife's edge. It's the system working exactly as it's designed to maximize profit at every possible turn, especially when there's a crisis to take advantage of.
And the result of all this, it's just deepening this huge divide. It feels like there are two different Americas now. There's the America that counts profits, the one that owns assets like stocks and property, and can pretty much just wait out the storm. And then there's the other America, the one that counts pennies, that pays for everything in real time, and with every single price hike, feels itself sliding further and further backward. Okay, so let's zoom back in now. Let's go from the big, abstract system to the actual people who have to live inside it. Because behind every single one of these statistics are millions of quiet, personal struggles.
Remember James, the construction worker from California we mentioned earlier? He's making what used to be a really solid middle-class salary, but now he's completely priced out of a home. His words, they just capture this deep feeling of being let down that so many people are experiencing. Or take Linda from Detroit. Her family had a bakery that survived for generations. It was a pillar of their community, but it couldn't survive the cost of flour and sugar tripling. And when that shop closed, it was the death of a dream that's dying in small towns and big cities all across the country.
And then there's Lydia in the Bronx. She's a mom, she's working multiple jobs. I mean, she is doing everything right, everything society tells you to do, and she's still falling behind. Her story is the story of so many people who just feel like they're running as fast as they possibly can just to keep their heads above water.
You know, when you really look at it, the biggest cost here isn't even the money. It's the loss of faith. Faith in the systems that are supposed to work for us, faith in leadership, and maybe most importantly, faith in that basic idea that tomorrow will be better than today. That loss of hope, that's the most dangerous kind of inflation there is.
But this story does not end in despair, because something really remarkable happens when big systems fail. People find a way. They start to rebuild, not from the top down with some grand plan, but from the ground up, from the heart.
And what we're starting to see emerge is this kind of tale of two systems. On one side, you've got their system, the old way, corporate profit, fragile global supply chains, consumerism. But on the other side, a new system is being built, our system, one that's all about community power, local sourcing, and real cooperation.
And this isn't just a nice idea. It's happening in really practical ways. You've got people pooling their money to create their own community grocery co-ops. They're cutting out the middleman and buying directly from local farms and makers. Some folks are even creating their own local currencies or barter systems to get around the cash economy altogether. This is what rebuilding looks like in real time.
And you know what they say, necessity is the mother of invention. It is sparking some incredible creativity. Tech-savvy young people are building AI-driven tools to help families budget smarter. There are apps popping up that connect people with leftover food from restaurants so it doesn't go to waste. Small business owners are going viral selling their stuff directly to customers online. It's like we're seeing a whole new definition of wealth emerge. It's not about how much stuff you have, it's about how resilient you and your community are.
And that really brings us to the final point here. Look, this economic storm, it's real, and the prices are absolutely insane. But what this whole crisis is also doing is revealing something that has no price tag, something that can't be bought or sold. Because the storm can raise the price of milk, but it can't touch the human spirit.